Okay, what you just saw was my project that I did in response to what somebody posted on, I think it was LinkedIn, on how to morph text into a sphere. So I've seen a lot of tutorials on this, but then I came across something that actually I thought would work nicely, and it's using Thinking Particles and Expresso. And it sounds like it's going to be complicated, but it's so easy. So I'm just going to show you, I'm not going to show you exactly the same project, how I set it up and did it, but I'm going to show you how to use the tools, and you could adapt it to any project that you have that could use something like this. So it'll all make sense in a minute when you see how it's done. Okay, I'm going to set up two objects, and I'll set up a cube, and I'll make it, let's say 70 by 70 by 70. And then I'm going to make the segments, let's say I'll make the segments, I'll make it 80, make it a little larger here. Okay, and I'm going to make this 8 segments each way. Okay, and what I'm going to do is set up another object. Let me see what would work. Let me use a cone here, and the cone will be, let's say, 90 by 70. So it'll be similar size here. And just spread them out. So what's going to happen is the cone is going to break apart and turn into the cube. So what I want to do now is, the cone looks like this has the right amount of segments, or a good amount that's kind of similar to what the cube is. So now I'm going to take both these objects and make them editable, and the way to do that is this icon here. You have one of the objects lit and you hit that icon, or you could light the object and just hit your C key. And the way you know that it became an editable object or a parametric object is by the icon goes away and you get this icon that's just like a polygon type thing, or a triangle here, and you'll see. So I have the object lit and I hit the C key, and now it's an editable object. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is you go into the Expresso tag, and the way you get to that is, I'm going to set up a null, and you go to tags, then you go to Cinema 4D tags, and then way on the bottom is the Expresso tag, and it comes up with this window. And once you're in this window, what you want to do is you right click and you go to New, right click New, and then you go down to Thinking Particles, Generator, and this one right on the top of Thinking Particles Generator is P-blurb, and that's the one you want to have open here, this window, which is actually going to be used as just a button to let you get to this window down here in your attributes editor. Whatever you have up here in Expresso, all the parameters become available in your attributes window down here. So right now I'm just going to make this smaller, because we're really not going to be doing much with that, except I'll show you. Stick that right here for now. So right now you see we have something in here, objects. Take your the two objects you've made and just drag them down there into there. So cone is in there now, and cube. And then you see a connection there. What's going to happen is the cone is going to turn into the cube. So it goes from the top to the bottom. So the cone to the cube. Now, in here you have different attributes. You have where you want the animation to start and where you want it to end. And that's the animation phase. So what you do is, I want the cone to stay up on screen a little while before it actually starts to do its transformation to the cube. So at 20, I'm going to hit the button to activate the animation start at 0%. And I'll make this happen real quick. I'll do it to 50, so it's a second. And then I'm going to put this at 100. So I want it to complete itself at 100% there, and activate the animation button again. And you'll see there'll be a couple of things happening. Nothing's going to really happen with these objects yet, but you'll see those little tick marks fly over, which means it's actually going to work. Now what you want to do is you want to make these two objects invisible in the editor and in the render window. So okay, actually I believe you need to have it in the render window, but leave them both off there. So you could see how this is working, and still nothing is happening. And the reason being is we have to add one more piece. It's under simulation, under Thinking Particles. There's this in the pull down here, there's something called particle geometry. You light that up and it shows up in your object window here. And now you'll actually see it happen. But what's happening is it's very chunky, but it's kind of neat. You might want that. But let's say you wanted it to be a little finer, and it looks like there's only about, well, I'll tell you exactly. There's only 5 pieces to each object that's showing on the screen at once. So what you do is you go back to the beep blurb, just tap that, and you'll come up with your attributes again. And cone is lit now, so I'm going to, under count, I'm going to go to 100. And also, they're very thin. They don't have any thickness, or depth. They have depth, but they don't have thickness to the objects. They're very thin. So the walls of the surface. So I'm going to make the walls get thicker. I'm going to make it 10 times, or 10% of the thickness that it was presently. It was at 1, so now it's at 10. And I'm going to do the same thing for the cube. So I'll put the same count in the cube, which is 5. Which is 5 right now, but I'm going to make it 100. And I'm going to make this 10 and 10. Okay, so now if you rewind and go back, you can see they have some thickness. And let's go back a little further here. So you can see they have thickness. Now, it's kind of hard to tell right now that there is thickness there, but there is. And I'll show you how to color the different edges and backs and the surface. So I'm going to create 3 colors, 3 new materials. And I'm going to go to create new material. And I got a material there, or I could just double click down here and create the additional two materials that I'm going to change the color. So the first color, let's make, we'll make red. Okay, so we got a red material, and the next one we'll do a green material. Okay, and the next one we'll do a blue material. Okay, so we got those three materials, and I don't know if you've experimented with colorizing surfaces in like extruded objects, or if you have extruded text and you have a bevel on it, and it's like R1 and R2 in your selection. You could change the attributes or the color of that selection, or C1, C2. Well, this works similar, but for some reason in this part of Cinema 4D, or this part of the Cinema 4D editor, they changed the terminology on what you do with it. So what you need to do is, first of all, you need to take these colors and drag them, each one, into particle geometry, and you'll see it turns red, then it turns green when you put that in, and turns blue when you put the blue material on. So those three materials are in there, but the only one that's showing is your last one right now, which is the blue. So what you want to do is, the base color is red, the edge color, and this is how you indicate this to become the edge color. You light up your color in your objects editor window, and then you come down here and you type all caps F edge, and it should go to, let's see if it'll update here. It didn't. Let's see what happened here. Well, you know what's happening? Because I have a third color in here, it's overriding this. So if I took this out, probably, yeah, now you see it. Okay, so now you got the edge of green and the base of red. So the surfaces are red, the edges are green. But now we want to add a third color, like the inside or the back. So you could add that, and now I ruined the whole thing again, but not really. So I just want to indicate that as being the back. So it's the same thing. It's F back. And now I have three colors. And these could be anything on here. They could have bumps, they could have reflection. So it could be pretty complex what this actually looks like here. And that's basically how I did it. So I hope you could make use of this, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. It's my first.